We are discussing about Garbhadana Samskara. I'll just summarize what all we have discussed with little more additional points. And then we'll go into the actual performance of the rituals and rites of Garbhadana. So, Garbhadana is getting ready to beget children by the husband and wife. So, they have to prepare themselves to beget worthy children at the physical level, at the mental level, at the spiritual level, and also at the social level. So let me summarize things at each level. One is the physical level. They have to be very healthy. If they are not healthy, then of course, the children also will be subjected to several congenital diseases. So if the children have to be born healthy, they would be, father and mother have to also to be very healthy. There are so many problems before they beget children. A few will just mention, and it is not exhaustive. There are many such. And of course, the medical science will help us to overcome such problems. And some problems are incurable. In such a case, they cannot go for Garbhadana Samskara. The best thing would be they have to adopt some child and proceed. So what are such problems? The one main thing is the sperm count, they say it, sperm count. The number of sperms that are produced, they have to be in a good number. Then only it is possible for one of them to get into the womb and fertilize. So that's a very important thing. If sperm count is less, then it's very, very difficult for the conception. The sperm count is very low. Just a moment. Then, okay, the sperm count will be okay, but its mobility will be not sufficient. It cannot move and penetrate into the ovum. That's also, these are all medical problems what comes before conception. So that has to be taken care of. One is the sperm count, then is its mobility. That's on the one side. On the other side, the ovum should be produced regularly. That is, the menstrual cycle must be quite regular. If it is not regular, then also there could be some problems. Then they call another very common problem nowadays, because of our food habits and because of our lethargic life and other things. It's called as PCOD, polycystic ovarian disease. In the ovary, a lot of cysts are formed and they hinder the production of ovum and its movement. So that's also a problem. PCOD is a very rampant problem nowadays. You can say that it's a product of our modern life. Polycystic ovarian disease. Then the ovum that is produced should come into the uterus and should wait for the sperm. That's a procedure in the system, the body system, in the reproductive system. Sometimes the ovum will not get into the uterus at the right time. And it gets stuck in the tube itself. The tube between the ovary and the uterus. There's a tube through which it travels and comes to the uterus. And the tube is called as the fallopian tube. Fallopian tube. Now, there is some disorder in its movement. And if it gets stuck in the fallopian tube, or it is very slow in moving in the fallopian tube to the uterus, sometimes the sperm gets into the fallopian tube itself and the fertilization takes place. Actually, the fertilization should have been take place in the uterus, but it takes place in the fallopian tube. And it's called as fallopian pregnancy. That's also a problem. Irregular menstrual cycle, PCOD, fallopian pregnancy. These are all the problems. Now, if any such problem is there, of course, we have got medical investigations and they can do it, and certain treatments are there. And some of the cases, if they are very serious, they cannot be treated and they cannot beget children. That's the problem. Of course, they go for other very serious procedures also, like they take the sperm and ovum outside and see that they are fertilized in the laboratory, and then again put it back into the uterus. So many things are there. So many procedures are there. So all those things have to be taken care of before we beget healthy and good children. So it's all possible by mending our ways of life, by practicing sober food, and so many other things, regular exercise and other things. All these problems can be overcome to a great extent. Then coming to the mental thing, we call it as mental blocks. In psychology, we call it as mental blocks. So if there are mental blocks, though the physical aspect of it is all okay, though the physical aspect we don't have any problem, but because of the mental blocks, so many problems will come into. Let me refer to one or two. Many women, they are afraid of the delivery. They are afraid of the delivery because they have been given to understand that delivery is a very tough job. It results in a lot of pains. It's very difficult. And there are cases where the mother dies at the time of delivery. So many things. They would have heard so many stories. Of course, some may be facts, but those facts are not general. It's specific to some cases. So because they have heard about those things, they are afraid of. They are afraid of getting into pregnancy, and they are afraid of the delivery. So that fear itself will work as a mental block, and that prevents pregnancy. All other things are fine. Physically, there is no problem. It's a mental block. That is one. Then not only delivery and pregnancy, some are also have got their own what you call as their own preconceived notions about bringing up children. Okay, you beget children, then it's very difficult to bring them up. It is so tough. It is like this. It's like this. That children will give you a lot of trouble. So many things. So they're afraid of all those post-delivery conditions, and they fear it. And that fear also works as a mental block, and they will not be able to conceive it. Another one. The capacity of the woman to accommodate is also a problem. Now, how our system is there, male or female, our system is there. Our system is in such a way that anything foreign, anything external, the body doesn't accept it. I'll give you a very simple example. Say a thorn. A thorn is a foreign object. A thorn gets into, say, our foot. A small thorn. The body will not accept that thorn and keep quiet. It immediately recognizes something foreign and it creates a wound there, and pus will come, and with the pus, unless that thorn is thrown out, it will not rest. The body will be doing continuously something or the other, and it will be a paining spot. Unless the wound is there, the pus forms, and the pus will be taken out, and along with the pus, the small head of the thorn will come out, and everything will be fine later. It is a self-protecting system. The self-protecting system is there in all human beings, all animals. That's a nature's gift, in fact. That's a nature's gift. So it doesn't allow anything foreign into us. Now the same problem happens when organs are replaced in human beings. We have got an immunity system. That's the immunity system. Because of the immunity system, it doesn't allow anything foreign into our body. So speaking about organ transplantation, maybe a wall of the heart, maybe the kidney, maybe some other part is replaced. Now, what is replaced for the original organ which is not functioning? That replaced one is foreign to the body. So there are great chances of the body rejecting it. Even though the kidney is transplanted, the kidney is rejected. That wall of the heart is transplanted, the body rejects it. There are so many such cases. Because it's foreign to the body and the immune system doesn't accept any foreign thing. It just rejects. So what they do is, the medical procedure is, they prescribe medicines which are immunosuppressants. Immunosuppressants. So those medicines will suppress the immune system. And because the immune system is suppressed, it will not function. So the possibility of the organ transplant is accepted. It's not rejected because that immunity system is suppressed. They're called as immunosuppressants. It's all some medical things what I'm telling. So because of the immunosuppressants, which is deliberately and forcefully prescribed, the body accepts that foreign transplant, external transplant. And gradually it gets adjusted to the body. Then the quantity of immunosuppressants are reduced. It is a gradual process. Okay. So what I mean to say is the body is always cautious, always alert, and protects the body from anything foreign external. Now coming to this conception part. Whatever the woman receives in the form of the sperm, it's a foreign body to it. Sperm is not prepared in the body of the woman. It's a product of the male and that is given to the woman. As far as the woman is concerned, it's a foreign thing. And the immune system works. Unless the woman deliberately accepts it with happiness. She should know the procedure, she should know the process, what happens, and she should be very clear that yes, I'm receiving something foreign, and this is received for some purpose of begetting children. It has to be done. So let the body not throw it away as something foreign. So all this thing has to happen mentally. If this doesn't happen, even that sperm what is received will be thrown out thinking that it is a foreign body. That also happens. It's also a mental block. So that mental block should be received and she should be in a condition to receive it happily, to accommodate it in herself and gradually nourish it. This should be the mental condition of the woman. If resistance is there in any way, the immune system immediately stops accepting it and conception will not take place. There are so many such mental blocks. So they all have to be considered. Some counseling is required. We have to decide on case-to-case basis and which is a mental block and we have to overcome it. Then the conception will take place. Then coming to spiritual angle. Spiritual angle, as I have been telling, it's about the quality of the sperm and the ovum. So whatever is the good impressions, that is susamskara, and bad impressions, kusamskara, what is there on the soul, will decide the quality of the sperm and ovum. So the would-be parents, that is husband and wife, they have to spend a lot of time in analyzing themselves, in practicing serious introspection, and find out what are all the kusamskara they have, what are all the susamskara they have. And then the susamskaras have to be encouraged and the kusamskaras have to be discouraged. And that proportion of Susamskara and Kusamskara, they have to work out. And see that Susamskara is in majority, is in a great part. So this they can do with yoga, this they can do with meditation, this they can do with introspection. And this has to be done very honestly and with all seriousness. It's an improvement in themselves. It's an improvement in themselves and in their behavior, character, understanding, perspective, outlook, whatever it is. So this has to be at a spiritual level, which finally decides the quality of the sperm and the ovum. And the genetic contents in the sperm and the ovum. So when the quality of sperm and ovum gets improved, when the genetic content of both the sperm and ovum is of a superior quality, yes, we can expect a better progeny. Then what is the social aspect of it? Social aspect. It's not enough that we beget children. That's not the end of it. We are actually contributing a live member to the society. It's begetting children. And it's not sufficient that we beget it, but at the same time we have to bring it up in a very good way so that it becomes a responsible and useful and a very important citizen of the society and world. We should be aware of how to do it beforehand. Before begetting children, the father and mother should be aware of their responsibility in bringing up the child usefully in a worthy way. So if they're not aware of it, of course they beget children and they'll not be able to train them, they'll not be able to guide them, and they may become worthy children or antisocial elements. That is a social responsibility the parents have. So should be trained and informed beforehand about all these things. Not only that side, the child also will have a lot of problems in its infancy. It's a new child which is to the world. It's seeing the light for the first time, the sound for the first time, and its whole structure has to get accustomed to the external environment. So there will be a lot of problems in its infancy. So it should be able to deal with those problems and tackle it and maintain the child healthy. That's also a very important thing. That itself is a very big science. In Ayurveda, they speak of one big chapter about that. It's called as Kaumara Bhrutya. Kaumara Bhrutya. The meaning of it is serving the child. Serving the child. The child demands so many things because new to the world. As parents, they should be aware of so many things to tackle the problems, to bring it up healthy and hale. So all such information guidance is summarized in that Ayurvedic chapter called as Kaumara Bhrutya. Bhrutya is serving as a servant. How we should be a servant to the just born child until it is capable of coping for itself. Kaumara Bhrutya. So they should be aware of it. If they are not knowing what is Kaumara Bhrutya is, how to bring up the child in a healthy and a very conducive environment, the child will suffer. And the parents shall be responsible for it. Totally, the would-be parents before Garbhadhana Samskara, before conception and before begetting a child, they have to be physically equipped, mentally equipped, spiritually equipped, and socially equipped. All these prerequisites have to be satisfied. We also have got so many children. We also have seen other people begetting children. But to what extent they are able to implement these things is a question. for which you have to answer. And all the aspects, whatever I told you, it's based on the science, it's based on the medical science, it's also based on the Ayurvedic texts in which so many things are in detail. And these Ayurvedic texts are, of course, the offshoot of the Vedas. Vedas and Ayurveda is called as a Upaveda, a sub-Veda, an offshoot of the Veda. And all these details are available in some in the Veda and some in the Upaveda called Ayurveda. That's what I have shared with you so far. So all these prerequisites have to be seriously attended to by the father and mother before they come together and beget children. These are the preparations. If these preparations are taken care of, the probability of getting a healthy and brilliant children is very high. Healthy and brilliant children. And there is one saying in Telugu. It says, we are not to be jubilant when we beget a child. We should not be happy or jubilant after getting a child, but we can really be happy and jubilant when the child grows into a responsible citizen and is appreciated by all around. Just because you got the children, we cannot be jubilant and happy. I have to bring it up into a very responsible person, and people should appreciate it. Yes, you are a very good person, and thanks to your parents who have given you to society. Then we have to be happy and jubilate. There's a proverb and saying in Telugu about that. It seems very true. It seems very true. Begetting children is mechanical, but with all this preparation, begetting children and bringing them up in the same direction is still more a greater responsibility. And then, yes, we can be jubilant and happy because they are useful to themselves and to the society around. All these things have to be considered and discussed in detail before the Garbhadhana Samskara. To the best extent possible, whatever knowledge I have about it, I have shared with you. Now next we get into the actual ritual of Garbhadhana Samskara, and let me be clear that all these prerequisites work in the background. All these things work in the background for performing this Garbhadhana Samskara. So Garbhadhana Samskara, and I have also told you there are 16 Samskaras, Shodasha Samskaras. Now all these 16 Samskaras have certain things in common which will be performed in all the 16 rituals, and a few things which are very particular to that Samskara. It has got two parts. Part 1, which is common to all the Samskaras. So whatever I say for Garbhadhana Samskara, that part 1 is the same for Nishkarmana, is same for Namakarana, is same for Vivaha, is same for Antyeshti. Part 1 is general in nature. So part 1, what is general in nature is same and common to all Samskaras, will be performed first. Then specific mantras, specific guidelines are given for each Samskara which differ from one from the other. Part 1, Part 2. Part 1 general, same for all. Part 2 specific for each Samskara. There are two parts. So let me first cover part 1. Because when I cover part 1, I would have covered part 1 of all the 16 Samskaras. All the 16 Samskaras have this part 1 common. So by covering it, I would have scanned through all 16 Samskaras regarding part 1. Then we will specifically discuss about part 2, which is specific for Garbhadhana Samskara, is different for Pumsavana, is different for Simanta, is different for Jatakarma, Namakarna, and other things. The peculiar and specific things. What are to be considered for that particular Samskara. Okay, the general thing. First, we should have one Purohit to conduct it. Purohit, the priest. The actual meaning of the word Purohita is one who is kept in the front. One who is assigned the work of leading. We call him as Purohit. We also call him as Ritvik. Ritvik. Ray is the vowel. Ritvik. A Ritvik has to be assigned the responsibility of conducting the whole rites, guiding us. Of course, we do know certain things, but a Ritvik is one who has specialized in that. We'll be knowing things generally at a superficial level, but a Ritvik or Purohit will know it very meticulously and will conduct the whole rites and rituals. Fine. So to select one such. That selecting is called as Varana. Varana is to choose, to select, to assign the responsibility of leading to one person. So it is called as Ritvik Varana. Ritvik Varana is common for all the 16 samskaras. Whatever samskara we do, we ask one Ritvik to come and lead us, guide us. Though we know the overall things, he'll be knowing it in a finer way and he'll be able to guide us step by step as to what is to be done and what is to be understood. And he goes on giving explanations for everything. And it will be a very good information and very good guidance. So, Ritvik Varana. That's the first part. Then we speak of Sankalpa. Ritvik Varana and Sankalpa go together. Sankalpa is our will to perform that right. Our will, our decision, our determination to perform that. So it's actually dating the whole affair, dating the whole ritual. On such and such a day, we are performing this, and please, O Ritvik, lead us and help us. This is our determination. We will perform this to the end. It will not be left in the middle. Whatever time is required, whatever energy is required, whatever paraphernalia is required, everything is provided, and we'll complete, repeat, we'll complete this rite. We'll complete this ritual. That's our Sankalpa. On such and such a day, it's known as Sankalpa. And how do you calculate the day? Now, in the Gregorian calendar, what we are seeing now, we speak of year 2019, we speak of the month April, May, June, and then we speak of that day, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we speak of the specific date, maybe 10th, 11th, 12th, like that. This is how we do it. But we, back in Vedic Jyotisha, Jyotisha is astronomy and mathematics. It's not astrology, I make it clear. There they have got totally a scientific way of calculating time, a scientific way of calculating time. The reason is this. The present day calculation in the Gregorian calendar needs several instruments to know time, watch we need, and we need a calendar, so many things. But the calendar, what is developed in Indian astronomy, is in such a way that it is spread in the sky. No instrument is, we just look at the sky and say approximately what is the date, time, and other things. It's a very, very interesting thing. I'll just rush through it. I'll not go into the detail now. I'll just rush through it. They speak of 7 parameters to calculate time. 7 parameters. The first parameter they speak of, and the second parameter they speak of, is day and night. Day and night. Now we don't need any instrument to find out whether it's a day or night. When sun is there, it's day. When sun is set, it's night. So day and night. The very next thing what to speak of day and night is a fortnight. It's a fortnight. This week system is not there. WEEK, week system is not there. After day and night, we immediately go to a fortnight. And how we calculate which day of the fortnight is? It's very simple. It depends on the phases of the moon. It's also clearly there in the sky. But to calculate the days of a week, we don't have any parameter. You should have a calendar for that. But to understand the phase of the moon, if I look at the sky, it's fine. So if I see the phase of the moon 2 days, we'll immediately understand whether there is an increase or there is a decrease. That fortnight is technically called as Paksha. Paksha. So it would be Krishna Paksha or it could be Shukla Paksha. Krishna Paksha is when the phase of the moon is reducing. And finally, it ends up with a new moon day or Amavasya, a new moon day. So Prathama, Dvitiya, Tritiya, Chaturthi, Panchami, Shashti, like that, it comes up to Chaturdashi and a new moon day, then is Amavasya. So gradually the phase of the moon decreases and it becomes total dark, pitch dark by the new moon day. From the next day, a new moon will start. Now when I look at the sky, I can find out. This one is a Krishna Paksha. In Shukla Paksha, it's totally the opposite. The phase of the moon increases day by day. And on the 15th day, it is a full moon day. Paurnima. Paurnima or a full moon day. So observe two phases of the moon. Whether it's increasing or not, I will know. If it is increasing, it is Shukla Paksha. If it is decreasing, it is Krishna Paksha. Krishna Paksha ends in new moon day and Shukla Paksha ends in full moon day. So all the 15 days can be observed. No other instrument is required. And I just look at the sky, I will know what it is. One Krishna Paksha and one Shukla Paksha put together is a month, Masa. One Krishna Paksha and one Shukla Paksha is known as a Masa, month. Masa. Now two such months, they are called as one Ritu, season, one Ritu. Ritu is, that Ri is a vowel, Ritu. So two such months make up one Ritu. And you speak of 6 Ritus, depending upon the changes in nature. By observing the changes in nature, we speak of 6 Ritus, starting from Vasanta and ending with Shishira. I'll name them. Vasanta Ritu, where the trees sprout fresh, Vasanta Ritu. Then we got the Grishma Ritu. The next 2 months is a Grishma Ritu. Summer. Then we got the Varsha Ritu, the rainy season. Vasanta Ritu, Grishma Ritu, Varsha Ritu. Then we got Sharad Ritu. Sharad Ritu. And the sky will be very clear. Rain has come and gone. And winter has not set in. That is Sharad Ritu. Then we have Hemanta Rutu. Hemanta Rutu is equivalent to the winter. It's very cold. Then we got Shishira Rutu. Vasanta Rutu, Grishma Rutu, Varsha Rutu, Sharad Rutu, Hemanta Rutu, and Shishira Rutu. Shishira is a transition from winter to the Vasanta Rutu. Now each one is equivalent to 2 months. Each Ritu is equal to 2 months. And you got 6 Ritus, 6 into 12. But before that we have got one more thing. After Ritu we have got what is known as Ayana. Ayana. 3 Ritus put together is one Ayana. 3 Ritus put together or 6 months is equal to one Ayana, and we call it as the Dakshinayana and Uttarayana. Dakshinayana for 6 months, Uttarayana for 6 months. To know this also, we need not have any instrument. By just observing, you can have it. You can know it. Now, how does this Ayana is decided? Relatively, we observe from Earth that sun rises and sun sets. Actually, sun will be the same. Because the rotation of the Earth, we observe that sunrise and sunset. That's okay. But relatively, we observe sunrise and sunset. Now, this point of sunrise is not the same. It's not the same. It's the same only on 2 days in a year. That is, that point where the sun rises is straight coincides with the equator. Equator, the center imaginary line on the globe. It's coinciding with that equator only twice a year. One we call it as Makara Sankranti, and another one we call it as Karkataka Sankranti. These are the technical terms. Makara Sankranti and Karkataka Sankranti. There's 6 months gap between the two. So only those 2 days, the sun rises coinciding with the equator. Then what about other days? After Makara Sankranti, that point of sunrise moves to the north and comes back to the equator. This we call as Uttarayana. That is the travel towards the north. The point of sunrise travels to the north and comes back. And that is the Karkataka Sankranti, where it coincides with the equator. Then on, it moves to the south and comes back to the equator by Makara Sankranti. That takes 6 months. And that is known as the Dakshinayana, this movement towards the south. The path towards the south and coming back to the equator. It's all astronomy, what I'm telling, astronomy. To be precise, it's Indian astronomy, Vedic astronomy. Then these 2 Ayanas put together, one for the 6 months Uttarayana, another 6 months it is Dakshinayana. Both Ayanas put together, we get a Samvatsara, that's a year. That's a year. So how do you specify the day for our Sankalpa? On such and such a day, we are determining, we have decided to perform such and such a rite. So how do we come back? So in such and such a Samvatsara, now this year also they have prescribed that there is a cycle. There is a cycle of 60 years. They have named 60 years. They have given 60 names for each year. And that gets repeated. It's a cyclic one. After 60 years, the first year comes back. It's a cycle of 60 years. This also they have worked out by looking into the similar aspects which are observed in nature and how it gets repeated over a period of 60 years. Almost, not exact, but almost the years are similar. After 60 years, the 61st year will be almost similar as the first year. So they made it a cycle of 60 years. It's based on a lot of observation and calculation and other things. So among this cycle of 60 years on a particular year, that's number one, year. Number one, a particular ayana, that's number two, maybe Uttarayana or Dakshinayana. Under that, on a particular Rutu, we got 3 Rutus in Uttarayana, 3 Rutus in Dakshinayana. Rutu is specified. And in that Rutu, we have got, each Rutu has got 2 months, Masa. On a particular Masa, 4th one, Samvatsara number 1, Ayana number 2, Rutu number 3, Masa number 4. In that Masa, we have got Paksha, Krishna Paksha, Shukla Paksha. That's the next one. That's the 5th one, Paksha, the fortnight. And in that fortnight, we have got 15 days. So the specific day, Tithi, we call it as Tithi. That's the 6th one. Day or night is the last one. That is the 7th one. I repeat, Samvatsara. We are going to pinpoint when we are doing it. Samvatsara is a big band. In that we speak of Ayana, a lower one. Then we focus in, we converge to Rutu, from Rutu to Masa, Masa to Paksha, Paksha to the Tithi, and then day or night. Now we have decided, we have determined to perform this rite. And we are going to complete it, and that is our woe. That's our Sankalpa, that's our Pratigya. We have planned everything in such a way that we are going to complete it, we are not going to leave it halfway. For every ritual, this is a common thing. This is specific, Samvatsara, Ayana, Rutu, Masa, Paksha, Tithi, day or night. These are the 7. In several Veda mantras, it is referred that calculation of time has got 7 horses. The calculation of time is done based on the 7 horses. The 7 horses are these: Samvatsara, Ayana, Rutu, Masa, Paksha, Tithi, day or night. Aho Ratra. Ahaha is day, Ratra is night. Aho Ratra. It's also interpreted as the spectrum, what we have got in light. There are 7 in number. Vibgyar. I heard of it. Vibgyor. Vibgyar. So when you look at that spectrum, you'll be able to know it. So all these put together will become white in color. When different source of light are disintegrated, they give a different spectrum altogether. That's what we observe mainly in rainbow. In rainbow, I got 7 colors. Vibgyar, violet, indigo, blue, green, orange, yellow, red. 7 in color. So those 7 horses are also interpreted as the 7 colors which make up the light. And this you are able to observe in case of a rainbow. That's a Sankalpa. So on such and such a day, in the leadership of so and so, we are going to perform this completely without any interruption, and we are not going to stop it halfway. This we speak of with reference to every samskara. Every samskara. This is a must. Then we chant Om. Next one, chanting of Om. That is, we focus our minds and other sense organs onto one point. We do the things in a focused way. Chanting of Om. Every one of us who are present, those who are perform the ritual and those who are witness to it, every one of us will chant Om. So all disturbances will come to an end. We are all focusing on what happens there. To make it, this chanting of Om is necessary. What Om means, okay, we'll discuss about it later. Earlier I have given a little glimpse of what Om means. Now we'll discuss about it once again. So we all chant Om. Then we go for what is known as Achamana. Achamana, gulping of 3 spoons of water. Gulping of water is necessary because we have to chant several mantras. Not only Purohit, we also have to chant so many mantras. For that sake, our throat should be clear, and it will be clear by gulping a few spoonfuls of water. Achamana. It's all common. It's all common. Then we go for what is known as Angasparsha. Angasparsha. So what does this Angasparsha mean? We take little water and touch our mouth, the nose, the eyes, the ears, the shoulders, and other things. It's symbolic. It's symbolic. That is, whatever sense organs have been given to us as a gift by God, we cleanse it, we purify it, and just use it, not abuse or misuse it. So the symbol for purification is cleanse it with water. Cleanse it with water is a symbol of purification. So Rudikvarana, Sankalpa, chanting of Om, Achamana, Angasparsha. The next one is Ishvara Stuti Prarthanopasana. Ishvara Stuti Prarthanopasana. Ishvara Stuti Prarthanopasana. Ishvara Stuti Prarthanopasana. So we'll discuss about it in the coming class. Ishvara Stuti Prarthanopasana. We have got after Ishvara Stuti Prarthanopasana, we have got Swasti Vachana, we have got Shanti Karana, then we invoke fire and start the Havan or Yajna, whatever it is. And up to a certain level in the Yajna, it is common. So once we are able to understand up to that, then we go to specific things in each of the samskara. What is the specific thing in Garbhadana? What is specific for Pumsavana? What is specific for Simanta and other things? And at the end, we have got again a few common things, Shanti part and other things, that are same for all. So once we go through these specific and particulars, then we go to the end and that Shanti part and know about it. For the day, we'll stop at this. We have come up to Ishvara Stuti Prarthanopasana. So what does it say? And in fact, it is called as invocation. To be very clear, it's called invocation. And why that invocation is required, etc., etc., we'll discuss in the coming class. That is day after tomorrow. Thank you. Namaste.
Sharma ji,
ಹೇಳಿಪ್ಪ.
ಈ ಗ್ರೆಗೋರಿಯನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲೆಂಡರ್ಗೆ ಅವ್ರು ನೋಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಲವು ಯಂತ್ರಗಳು ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ.
ಹೌದು.
ಏನದು ಯಂತ್ರಗಳೇನು?
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇವಾಗ ಕ್ಯಾಲೆಂಡರ್ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಒಂದು ಸಾಧನ.
ಹೌದು.
ಈ ಕ್ಯಾಲೆಂಡರ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಇವತ್ತು ಭಾನುವಾರ ಮಂಗಳವಾರ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ?
ಕ್ಯಾಲೆಂಡರ್ ನೋಡೇ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ.
ಆದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಹುಣ್ಣಿಮೆನ, ಇವತ್ತು ಚತುರ್ದಶಿನ ಹೇಳಕ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲೆಂಡರ್ ಬೇಡ.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಈ ಗ್ರೆಗೋರಿಯನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲೆಂಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಏನು ಅವ್ರದ್ದು?
ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಹುಚ್ಚಷ್ಟೇ. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ದಿ ಇಯರ್ ಬಿಗ್ಯಾನ್ ಇನ್ ಏಪ್ರಿಲ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಯುಗಾದಿ ಬರ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಯುಗಾದಿ ಆಸ್ಪಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅವನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ದ, ಸೀಸರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅವನ್ ತಲಹರಟೆಗೆ ಅವನ್ ಬೇರೆ ಇಯರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಜನವರಿಯಿಂದ ನೀವು ವರ್ಷ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ.